We've been talking a bit about weddings this show, obviously, if you've been listening. And it's funny because we share some similar opinions, but we also share some different opinions, you and I, don't we, Celeste?
Yes.
When it comes to weddings, I don't know, we have kind of similar point of views, but then kind of alternative point of views. So I thought, why don't we do some unpopular opinions about weddings?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'd be interested to hear if we have the same opinion or not.
Why? She's talking to me so robotic right now. Like, sure, Deanna, this is a great idea.
Right, because I'm going to tell you what happened behind the scenes, people. Right. This is siblings, right? She said to me, should we do an unpopular opinion about weddings? And I said, sure. And then she goes, I feel like we've done it before, though, and it's been done. And I was like, I agree. I don't think we should do it. And now she says to me, we're going to do an unpopular opinion about weddings. And I'm like, why? We've done this before.
Because we got busy talking about something else. We went on a tangent.
Here.
We went on a tangent. What would you like to give me an unpopular opinion about
siblings?
Right now?
Unpopular opinions about siblings.
All right, here we go. We're going to let everybody in here, a little insight here. So this is how we prepare the show. So I'm going to write, hey, chat, can you give me 10 unpopular, I can't spell unpopular,
I think chat can work out what you're saying.
Opinions about siblings.
Interested to hear if we're on the same page about this, right? So for those of you that might not have realised this, Deanna and I are sisters. Deanna is the older sister.
Yeah.
I am the younger sister. So this might, our opinions on things might tell a little bit about that because, since, older and younger siblings do tend to err on different sides about certain things, maybe just because they were raised slightly differently. Everyone says, the older sibling was raised with the harder rules and more boundaries and all these things. And then when it came to the next sibling and the next sibling and the next sibling, it just got easier and easier because all the parents just kind of gave up, which I disagree with, or at least in our family, not to take away from the difficulty that you might have had growing up. Hi, Mum and Dad. But I am interested to see if we agree on this. All right, hit me.
She's on fire. You guys see how fired she is today. Aaron would be listening to this, pissing himself laughing.
Aaron's
right
not
now.
listening. He's getting ready for
She's on a
Unleashed.
soapbox. She's on one. All right, here we go. 10 unpopular opinions about siblings. Being the eldest often means unpaid parenting.
I disagree in our situation, but I would say that that's probably true in a lot of situations.
Well, look, I mean, it wasn't terrible in our situation, but it definitely was a pressure to be like, make sure you look after your sister. Take your sister with you. You're not allowed to go if your sister doesn't go with you. Your sister, your sister, your sister. So, again, that's something that the youngest child never gets. You never get, ever, you never got, take care of your older sister.
What did you want me to take care of you?
No, but I'm just saying, the pressure happens the other way around, and it's like, well, who took care of me? Nobody, because there was nobody before me.
I feel like this has turned into a therapy session. Deanna is clearly airing her grievances about being the older sibling here. No, look, I think that in some situations, not always, but often the more kids in a family, I think the more the elder sibling takes on a parenting role because there's just so many.
That they help out the parents.
The parents. In
With
our
just
situation,
two, maybe it's not as hard.
It's not as hard, but yes, sometimes you did have to take me places with you. I'm sorry about that. Maybe you should go and speak to someone.
I am going to. Younger siblings are not cute. They're usually just spoiled.
Totally disagree. I was the cutest thing on the planet Earth.
No, yes, you were cute. I will give you that. But you also were definitely spoiled, for sure. You were fussy as a kid. Our listeners and, those who are listening, that know you would be laughing. She was so fussy as a kid. It was unbelievable. Things like she couldn't wear long sleeves because they annoyed her arms, or she wouldn't wear her hair down because it was in her face and it had to be tied up. You're still pedantic now, actually, just in different ways.
This is funny because Deanna also had OCD tendencies where she went through this stage for 2 years, but she had to lick every one of her fingers before she did anything.
I did. It's a sensory thing, though, because there's actually a lot of kids that go through that.
Literally. She used to be if you watch on the social media, because I'll show you.
No, I don't know why I went through that.
Lick every one of her fingers.
No, but even now, it's weird because even now with my fingers, I have this thing where, when you wash your hands with soap and then your hands get really... my hands have actually got that feeling now, and it freaks me out. I don't know what it is. Like, they get really smooth.
Your problems are developing as this segment goes on.
All right. Let's see. Sibling rivalry doesn't always go away with age.
I would agree with that. I don't necessarily think that that's the case in our situation.
No, we don't have sibling rivalry.
No, we're like pretty supportive of each other, and we've always got each other's back. I think actually anyone that knows us, like, we can argue.
Yes.
Aaron's like, they can argue.
Yeah.
We can argue, but we will, if anyone else argues with Deanna, I'll be like, I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
What are you saying? What are you saying about my sister? No, but I have also observed situations where I actually think siblings really do things to try and like one-up each other or get the better of each other, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I know. I wonder how that happens, but it does. Okay, last one. Parents often have favourites, even if they won't admit it.
Yes, and it's me.
You know, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. Again, I don't feel it that much in our situation. I don't know.
No, but I think, like, it depends on what's happening at the time. There was definitely a stage. Yeah, actually, that's true. Yeah, there was a stage where you were definitely the favourite when I was, like, effing, things up. As you consistently continue to do.
Yeah, I do, yeah. So I think it's just like now it's like, well, we've given up now with that one. But
also, like, as you get older, it becomes less and less of a thing. But I do think, like, I just think there's some kids that are easier with some things.
No, but I've seen it in other families, though. There are definitely parents that, like, clearly have favourites. But it's funny when you actually say that to people and they'll tell you, yes, I do have favourites as well.
It's funny also because I've seen Kris Jenner speak about this, and she's, like, I guess in some ways trying to normalise the fact that it isn't that, like, strange to have favourites on different days, or like just have a child that you're like, you know what, like that child checked in on me today and, like did something really special for me today. So I like am really grateful for that child today. Or is it that strange to have favourites? I think if it's a consistent favourite, maybe that's a bit touchy. But I think if it's, like on one day this one or one day the other one, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of healthy sibling rivalry. Maybe,
I don't know. Maybe if we ask the parents out there, they'll say it just depends on which kid is pissing me off the least today.
I don't know. That's a good question. But I think what we've both drawn from this last segment is that family therapy is needed.
In the studio, for sure.
So if you are a therapist...
Just call into Radio Italia Uno, 87.6 FM, and ask to speak to Two Brunettes A Gay.
Yeah, either that or hit us up on our socials and say, listen, I've heard the two of you and you definitely need some kind of family intervention here. Hey everyone, it's Deanna, Celeste and Aaron here, or as you know us, your Two Brunettes and A Gay.
Join the weekend happy hour at a new day and time every Saturday at 11 a.m.
So pour your mimosa for the most fabulous bottomless brunch in town.
Only on Saturdays at 87.6 FM, Radio Italia Uno.